What's up, everyone? Adrian Morrison here. I'm going to welcome you to the Profit Power Hour. I'm excited to have you here as always. Have a really awesome training available for you today. But before we get into that, for those of you that are new, it's your first time here, I want to say welcome. Thanks for being here. We do these every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. They're completely free trainings. There is nothing for sale, so do not worry. No one's going to try to sell you anything. These are just meat and potatoes trainings I do every week. And you can go to my YouTube channel and you can check those, check all the videos out, all the trainings out. We record all of these. They are edited a little bit when they're on YouTube, or you can log into your portal and see the unedited versions there at your Access Adrian portal. And then over here, you can look at us on YouTube. Tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a special guest come on, Michael Christ from ShineOn. He's become a great friend of mine over the years. As you all know, I've been working with ShineOn, which is a great vendor located in the US that ships awesome products from all over the world. And they're going to show you how to crush it during Mother's Day. I've always said that when you're asking what product, I'm gonna turn my camera on. When you're asking what product you should be marketing, people always say, Adrian, what product should I be marketing right now? I always say, it's the wrong question. The first thing you should ask is what season is it? What holiday is it? Because that's really gonna dictate where the demand is in the market, right? If it's summertime, then, winter heaters, mobile heaters aren't gonna be selling that well. It's gonna be, the little humidifiers that mist you and cool you down, so on and so forth. On Mother's Day, obviously, there's an abundance of really great ideas and gifts that you could sell. And there's no better place to find products for this particular holiday than at ShineOn. And by the way, you can get ShineOn just free access to their app. They do have upgraded versions and they're very much worth it. But just the free account, you can go to profitph.com/shine and that'll tag you to me, so they'll know that you're one of my students. And there's a lot of perks when they know that you're one of our students. Great friends with ShineOn and have been for a very long time. So I'm not going to jib jab too much here because I'm still coughing from the flu. I want to introduce you all to Michael Christ. Such a good dude. He's come and spoken our masterminds. Michael, you can go ahead and share your camera if you want to. This dude is a
What's
mad.
up?
What up, man? It's so rare, as you know, that I have people come on these webinars because so many people, just to be honest, they're full of shit. Like we were just talking about this, weren't we? They teach things that they don't actually do, and they teach ideas. If someone's going to come on here and teach you, this stuff, I want to know that they're in the mix, they're in the trenches. And the cool thing about Michael is he went from being a seller at ShineOn to CEO, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
been a wild ride.
Basically, just where you are right now, just someone selling online, started using their platforms, now the CEO of their platform, and someone I fully trust to come on here. You've probably seen him before if you've been around for a minute to teach y'all. So he's going to blow your minds. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give him the screen. Remember, you can get a free ShineOn account at profitph.com/shine. They have an incredible Facebook group. He does lives in the Facebook group all the time that you should check out. And Michael, let me go ahead and give you the screen, dude. And
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're ready to learn. Get out pen and paper. It's going to be a fun one. My biggest challenge anytime I do one of these with Adrian is keeping this 30 minutes. I'm used to going for 1, 2, 3 hours sometimes teaching. I just have a ton of fun, but we'll get into it. It'll be really good stuff. I also wanted to say that I'm glad I passed the very, very low bar of not being full of shit. It doesn't seem that hard, but I appreciate that. This will be a fun one. All right.
Yeah, you know how it is out here with fake Lambos and all the nonsense.
Dude, there's so many grifters. It's really bad. I hear you.
And this is
Okay.
where you drop the meat and potatoes, dude. So I'm gonna let you take it away because I know you got a lot of content to get through in a short period of time. I'm gonna turn my camera off. So everybody focus on Michael and just say thank you in the chat box for him. He's doing this for free. I called him and said, hey, will you come on and do a training? And he said, absolutely. This was earlier today, and now he's here. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Tell him thank you. And Michael, I'm gonna let you take it away, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian. And by the way, I thoroughly enjoy this. I mean, this is a blast for me. Anytime I can spend some of my working hours hanging out with other merchants and teaching, it's a ton of fun. So as Adrian said, I was actually a merchant for ShineOn for a number of years, and I got to know the owner of the company pretty well because I had some semi-successful stores. And the owner asked me if I'd join the company and come in. And originally, he wanted me to run some internal stores for ShineOn. And I joined the company, and I immediately started kind of building processes and teams, and I started teaching in the community. And one thing led to the next, and I can't even quite trace how I got here, but now I'm the CEO of the company and an equity holder. So it's been a lot of fun. I never expected this. It's a blast to be here. But anyway, now I want to share with you what I've seen work not only for myself, but for other people in the community. And one thing, I should say just right out of the gate is, it takes work, it takes skill. Print on demand is a skill, just like anything else. It probably requires a little bit of luck. It's not like you're going to hit, winning products and build successful stores overnight. Sure, that might happen sometimes, but usually it doesn't. So come at this with the right attitude, the right mindset that like, hey, you are going to have to pick up some new skills that maybe you don't have now. You're going to have to learn some new marketing techniques that maybe you don't have. And you're going to go through some trials and you're going to have to learn some problem solving that maybe you haven't done before. But that's great because this is how we grow as human beings. And by the end of this journey, you'll be a totally different person. And that's what all of this is really about. So I'm going to get into print on demand. I'm going to get into ShineOn. I'm going to get into Mother's Day. And then towards the end of this, what I want to show you are some really great Mother's Day products that I think would be good for you to focus on as we get a little closer to the holiday. So Adrian mentioned a couple minutes ago in the run up to this that, it's good to know what time of year we're in and kind of what holidays are around the corner and what buyers are interested in right now. Because as you know, us running e-commerce stores, if we can identify what people want to buy and we put those in our store and we can put those in front of the right people at the right time, they'll be more likely to pick those things up, right? So it makes a lot of sense. Well, at ShineOn, we specialize in print on demand jewelry. So yeah, you're seeing my screen. This is the ShineOn catalog, and you can see we have a bunch of different products in here. We've got necklaces and acrylic and blankets and all kinds of stuff in here. I want to focus on the jewelry though specifically because it's Mother's Day and the jewelry does really well. If I click into pendants here, you can see I've got all these message card style necklaces, right? So if you look at this one here, it's kind of this heart shaped type thing, and it's got a message card behind it where it says your design here. This is where you would take an idea that you have, you'd create a graphic, you'd upload it into our system, and we would create this product for you. I've got an example of what a finished one looks like right here in my hand. Let me see how I think I stopped showing my screen. I think I'm full screen now. Hopefully I'm full screen. And you can see I've got this jewelry product in my hand. It's this necklace, and then this design back here. This is what I created, right? And this one says, to my bonus daughter, I didn't give you the gift of life. Life gave me the gift of you. For all the prayers I ever prayed, you are truly the answer. I love you. It's a really nice luxury style box. It's got an LED light in it. And this is an amazing product for Mother's Day. Let me get my screen back up here. I'm going to show you why real quick. So Mother's Day is a huge gift giving holiday, right? Basically in the United States or most Western countries, probably, beyond that, if you have a mother, you're kind of expected to give them a gift this Mother's Day, right? It's what I call a compulsory gift giving holiday. And if you don't, you're a little bit of a scumbag, right? Like there's this societal pressure to do it. So everybody is buying gifts for their moms during this time period, right? Now, the number one most gifted item during Mother's Day, let me get my little laser pointer out here, usually is greeting cards, right? And so you can kind of see that right here on the screen. It's greeting cards. The second biggest item is jewelry, right? So it's greeting cards and jewelry. Now, the interesting thing about the message card jewelry that I just showed you is it's basically combining greeting cards with jewelry, right? It's like the perfect Mother's Day gift, right? It's the perfect Mother's Day gift. Basically means that the buyer doesn't have to go out and get two different items. They can get one item, right? And it's the physical good that they can wear around their neck, but it also has the greeting card element, which has that sentimental, emotional message that really creates the experience we want the buyer and the receiver to have. That's what's so powerful about the message card jewelry, specifically around Mother's Day. Now, I want to get into very quickly what works well in terms of messages and niches for this jewelry, and then I'm going to actually show you a few different product types that you can create. So around Mother's Day, we've been selling at ShineOn. We've got 4 or 5 years worth of data at ShineOn, and I go back through the data and I can see which niches tend to perform the best for Mother's Day. And based on the last 4 or 5 years of data, I found that the To My Mom niche, so that would be jewelry products and message cards that say To My Mom at the top, and then To My Wife and To My Daughter all perform really well. So any of those 3 niches, as we get into Mother's Day, should be performing pretty well. Now, within each of those niches, we have what I call sub niches. So I don't want to belabor this too much, but inside the To My Mom niche, for example, you might make a product that's To My Bonus Mom, or To My Unbiological Mom, or To My Mother-in-Law, and so on and so forth. So you have To My Mom is like a large kind of umbrella niche, and then underneath it you have a few different angles that you can play with. So if there's a niche inside of here that you're particularly passionate about, you can focus on that this Mother's Day. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about creating the phrases that go on this product, right? Now I'm going fast because we only have 30 minutes here. So again, you need to be taking notes, but I want to talk about the phrases that work well on these products as we get into Mother's Day. Now, in all of my experience at ShineOn, both as a merchant and now kind of running the company, I've seen thousands of products that we have sold. And the thing that all of them have in common is they have a really powerful sentimental phrase, right? So I like to tell people that the phrase is 90% of a winning product. The phrase is 90% of a winning product, specifically with this message card jewelry. So what I'm trying to say is it's the phrase on the message card that will typically drive the sale, right? It's not the jewelry item. It's not necessarily the box or anything like that. It is that phrase. And if the phrase can move somebody emotionally, like if they read the phrase and they're touched by it, or they're brought to tears, or they remember a loved one perhaps that has passed, any emotion really is fair game. But if that phrase can move them to feel something, they're going to be more likely to grab that particular product. So I tell people the phrase is 90% of a winning product. Now, there's a few different sayings we have in our community to help us remember this. So we like to say, if they cry, they'll buy. If they cry, they'll buy. Again, this is just, it's a heuristic to help us remember that message should make somebody feel something emotionally. Another thing we say is it's the phrase that pays. It's the phrase that pays. Again, it's the same thing. It's trying to bring the focus back to the power of the phrase. The next thing we like to say is if they feel, it's real, right? So if they cry, they buy. It's the phrase that pays. If they feel, it's real. It's all saying the same thing. When you're creating one of these ShineOn products, one of these message card jewelry items, you would it'd be good for you to spend a lot of your time focusing on the phrase and making sure that phrase is something that's really going to pull at the heartstrings of a buyer, because they're going to be way more likely to pick the item up. Now, a lot of times when I share this with people, the very next question they ask me is like, well, that's great, but where do I come up with these phrases, right? Because I'm not a writer, I'm not a poet or anything like that. That's fine. You don't really need to be, honestly. You can go to Pinterest, Google Shopping, Hallmark for inspiration, Amazon, any of these places, and you can type To My Mom gift, or To My Mom necklace, or To My Mom blanket, or even to my mom greeting card. And you're going to be presented with a bunch of products with phrases on them. I like to tell people, look at all those products and try to find phrases that you see repeating, right? So if you see the same phrase on a handful of products, usually that tells you that that phrase is resonating with an audience, right? That's what I call signal in the noise, right? And typically that means if you grab that phrase and you put it on your product, you could potentially ride on some of that success as well. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but you could potentially, right? If nothing else, that phrase can be a great starting point, meaning you can read the phrase, try to figure out what's resonating with people about the phrase, then maybe you tweak the phrase a little bit, right? You try to keep the essence of what makes the phrase great, but you tweak it a little bit and you put it on a product and you test it, right? And you can do this with AI tools today. It's super easy to do. One thing I will say is you don't want to ever carbon copy a phrase, especially from a place like Hallmark, right? Where they're all trademarked or copyrighted or whatever. Most of the time though, you're going to find that on Pinterest, Google Shopping, eBay, for example, a lot of times those phrases are not actually copywritten. They're not from a song, they're not from a movie or anything like that. They're not from a storybook. I've done a decent amount of research. Usually they're not. Do your own checking, but usually they're not, and they're fair game and you can use them. But if the phrase is 90% of the product, do some research, try to find phrases that seem to be resonating with people, and that would be a great place to start testing for your own message card jewelry products. Now, this is part of a larger, much larger presentation I gave, and I don't have time to go through all the slides here, so I'm going to skip over a bunch of these real quick about how we rewrite phrases and things like that. And I want to start showing you, I'm going to skip over the personalization bit. I want to show you some types of products that you can focus on that we have at ShineOn for this Mother's Day. So I'm going to make my screen large again, at least momentarily. Get my little laser pointer back out. Okay, so what I want you to focus on in these slides is not actually the message card or anything. I actually do want you to focus on the jewelry item that you see inside the message card. So this one over here on the left, it's called Alluring Beauty. It's like kind of this teardrop shape. You can see it's very bedazzled with cubic zirconia. This is a really popular one around Mother's Day, probably because it appeals to the more kind of mature audience. Like you could put this on and it's going to dress up an occasion, if that makes sense. This one right here in the middle, this is probably my favorite product we have in our lineup. It's called Love Knot. Love Knot. It comes in yellow gold and white gold. And this thing is just super popular. It's probably the most popular necklace item that we have. Again, it's another one that's kind of bejeweled, right? It's got all this cubic zirconia in it. You can hold it under a light and kind of move it around. You'll see the light kind of glinting off of it. It's really nice. This one over here on the right is called Interlocking Hearts. This one does really well in the To My Daughter niches. So let's say you want to sell for Mother's Day. However, you know, the mom thing isn't quite doing it for you and you want to focus on the To My Daughter niche or whatever. Or maybe you already have a store with that type of demographic. That's completely fine. We have items that will suit that as well. Interlocking Hearts is great for the To My Daughter niche. I think it has something to do with like how the hearts are kind of interconnected there and you can't like pull them apart. And it's kind of symbolic of parental love, if that makes sense. Like it can't really be broken. I think that's why this one's so popular in that particular niche, but this is another great one to sell. We have this in the, it's like a rose gold, yellow gold type option as well. Actually, it looks really freaking cool, believe it or not. So this is another great product, but these are the three I think I'd recommend you focus on as we get into Mother's Day. So again, that's Alluring Beauty, Love Knot, and Interlocking Hearts. You can find all of these in the ShineOn catalog. If you go to necklaces here, simple pendants, and then right inside here, you can see we've got Love Knot right here in the center. Over on the left, you have Alluring Beauty, and then on the right, you have Interlocking Hearts. So really easy to find. Okay, I'm going to go back here to my presentation, and I'm going to keep going. So the next item that I've seen work pretty well around Mother's Day are these graphic pendants. So this is a bangle, so it's like a bracelet. However, we sell the same pendant on a necklace as well, and the buyer can actually upload an image to the pendant. And the specific way I've seen this work in the past is where you sell multiple pendants, multiple bangles with different images of the kids. Now, the cool thing about this product is we can engrave this at ShineOn. So ShineOn's in Tampa, Florida. We've got all the machinery and all the capabilities in Tampa, Florida to not only produce these items in-house, but we can also engrave on them in-house. And we can do this in about 2 to 3 days. So, you know, from the time someone places the order on your store, usually we're shipping within 2 or 3 days, and then it takes another 2 to 5 business days for it to arrive at your customer's home. Much, much better than shipping stuff from China. So, this is a product that I've seen do really well in the past in Mother's Day. Again, that's, you know, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed to work this Mother's Day or anything like that. I'm just trying to help you all with what I've seen work in the past. Again, this comes from the mother or the buyer rather, uploading images of the kids and then engraving like their names, sometimes their birth dates on the back of it. So really cool, and you can have a lot of fun with this one. There's another unique angle you can use the buyer upload technology for. Specifically for Mother's Day. It works better for Mother's Day than any other time of the year. And I'm going to share that with you here a little bit later. But if anybody can guess what that other angle is, it's another image that you upload that would be perfect for this time of year, for Mother's Day, right? If anybody can guess what I'm thinking, write it in the chat now. I'm going to do a reveal here in a minute. So it's another product that works great for Mother's Day where someone uploads an image, but it's not an image like what you're seeing here. It's a little different image. So think about that. If you can guess what it is, put it in the chat. All right, so next we also have blankets. So I've spent most of our time talking about the jewelry, and honestly, I still think jewelry is a great place to start, especially if you're just kind of getting into this stuff. But blankets are also another great product. Like if jewelry is just not your thing and there's no way I can convince you to try jewelry, the blankets can be great as well. Specifically, the blankets that I like in our catalog are the woven blanket. So let me show you that. It's a really high quality. It's under home and living. Go to blankets. And then you have right here, you've got these woven blankets right here. These blankets, they're really thick, they're really heavy, they're really warm, very high quality. They are actually woven. So the thread colors themselves, or the threads are actually colored. It's not like we weave the blanket and then come over and print on top of it. It's like the colors, it's hard to explain, but the threads themselves are colored and then they're just woven into your design. So it's a really incredible product. Also, I just absolutely love some of the mock-ups that we provide for the blankets. They're the best mock-ups in the business. I've never seen another print-on-demand company carry the same quality of mock-ups that we have. But anyway, this is another great product. So if you don't want to do jewelry and I just can't convince you to try jewelry, blankets are another great option this particular Mother's Day. Now, when it comes to the actual design on the blanket, it's kind of the same thing. You want to go for a phrase on the blanket. I know it's weird, but it's what we see work. So you put a phrase on the blanket. You use the standard greeting card format. So you put to my mother, to my daughter, or whatever. Then you put the sentimental phrase, and then you sign it off at the end with, you know, like love your husband, or love your mother, or love your daughter, or whatever it is. And I see that work really, really well. If you pay very close attention to this animated GIF I have on my screen, you're going to see there are a few kind of personalized options for blankets that you can pursue. I'd recommend those as well. Those do great. I'm going to keep going here. We also offer acrylic at ShineOn. So let me pop back over to our catalog. I go to acrylic here. And you can see we have a few different acrylic options. We have printed and engraved acrylic. The engraved acrylic's cool because under light, it almost glows. It's really kind of neat. The acrylic, I think I'd have you focus on for Mother's Day though, is the printed acrylic. And we have the printed acrylic heart and then the puzzle piece. Now these are thicker pieces of acrylic and they can actually stand on their own without a base, right? But then you'll see I've got some other acrylic items in here that have a base. So if I just click into the acrylic square, which tends to be our most popular acrylic product, you upload your design to the acrylic piece itself, and then it gets nestled inside of this wooden base. And then the cool thing is the base can actually light up at night. It's just that the print doesn't glow in quite the same way that something that's engraved would. but it's a really nice, stylish product. And we see this sell as well. Again, it's the same idea with the phrase, right? It's like you want to put some kind of phrase on the product, and you want to focus on the Mother's Day niches, you know, the mom, the wife, or the daughter niches, specifically for Mother's Day. That's what we see work. Next, we have Canvas as well. Canvas is a popular product specifically around Mother's Day. It's always good if you can bring like a personalization element to Canvas, because Canvas is quite common these days. But if you can bring personalization to the item, and that's a whole other kind of training in and of itself. But if you get handy and you go to YouTube, you can definitely figure out how to do this. But if you can bring personalization to the Canvas item, it makes the product really unique. It makes it stand out. People know they're not going to be able to just like go to Walmart and get it, for example. And all of that increases the likelihood that somebody might pick the item up off of your store. All right, so here's some other fun ones that we have here at ShineOn. Again, this is back to jewelry, but this is what I call hyper personalized jewelry. So you can see we have this baby feet necklace here on the left. And yeah, it's exactly like it looks. The buyer can come in, they can choose the number of pendants they want. So let's say there's 3 kids, they can choose 3 feet to add to it. You can add a birthstone to each of the feet. So you can say, this one was born in May, you know, June and July, and each of the birthstones are a different color. And you can even engrave the name of the kids on the feet. And we do all of this right there in Tampa, Florida, right? Absolutely incredible. It takes us 2 to 3 days to create it, and then another 2 to 5 business days to ship to the customer. Again, you know, I can't, you know, I don't want to, success is not guaranteed, and all that. Sales aren't just going to fall out of the sky and all that kind of stuff. This is a product that tends to get pretty popular around Mother's Day. I think you can see why if you just apply some common sense here. The other one that's really good is this kid charm. I always call these the gingerbread people or the gingerbread kids for some reason, but I think in the catalog it's actually called the kid charm necklace. This one's kind of cool. You choose the boy or girl, you can put their name on it and all of that. It's kind of neat. All right, remember I said I had the big reveal of another product where you could upload an image, and it wasn't an image of a person, but it also did really well for Mother's Day. Well, ta-da, this is it. It's an ultrasound necklace. Now, this does good for Mother's Day, and believe it or not, the same angle works for Father's Day. So not only do we have heart and circle pendants, which I've already shown you, we also have graphic dog tags as well. And the dog tags with an ultrasound image uploaded to them surprisingly does really well around Father's Day. But here's the idea, right? So you create a product on your store, you put a cute little, you know, baby message on here like mama to be, and I can read that in a second. And then the idea is that the buyer actually uploads an ultrasound image to the product, and then they order it and they gift it to the daughter. Now I'm going to read this for you real quick. Mama to be, a new life is about to join your family. A tiny heartbeat, 2 little hands and 2 little feet, all joined to form a beautiful little one. You are beginning a story of courage, selflessness, and eternal love. The miracle of motherhood is about to begin, right? It's just kind of this warm, sentimental kind of phrase. But here's the thing. Let's pretend that you are a grandma, or think of your grandma. Imagine that she just found out she's going to be a grandma, right? She just found out she's going to be a grandma, just found out that her daughter is pregnant. Tell me that she wouldn't just freaking snatch this up in a second if she saw it on the Facebook newsfeed. Of course you would. It's super cute, right? It's super cute. My grandma would. Anyway, maybe your grandma, the mileage would vary, but my grandma would in a heartbeat. So anyway, it's just another kind of cute angle to bring to Mother's Day. It's definitely not something you can get in a Walmart or a Target or anything like that, and it tends to do really well. All right, we are at 30 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up here. Trying to be respectful with the time here. Ultrasound acrylic is another one that works. So you can do ultrasound pendants like I just showed you, but you can also do ultrasound acrylic. You can even do ultrasound canvas. And if you come back here, again, I don't think I can stop this, but there's actually an ultrasound blanket. It's right there. There's 2 of them on top of each other over here in this 3rd column. So you can actually upload an ultrasound image to a blanket, which is incredible. I mean, like print on demand's never been able to do that before, but here we are. It's 2025. The types of products coming out are just, they're absolutely mind blowing. So finally, if you know, that was all great for mother, that was great for daughter niches. If you specifically want to focus on the wife niche, these are the products I would recommend you focus on. So Love Not Again, that's a great one. We talked about that one earlier. Then you have Forever Love, which is this one in the middle. That's the heart-shaped one with the acrylic in the middle. That's also earlier when I held up the product to the camera. Hopefully you all could see it. That was also a Forever Love item. And then finally over on the right, we've got a name necklace. So this is our really nice script font. You can see it's kind of elegant, it's kind of nice. You know, name necklaces are really popular. We actually produce these right there in Tampa, Florida. This is a product that you can say is made in the USA. We meet all the legal requirements to actually promote it as such. And we just recently made a ton of improvements to our name necklaces in particular. So the polish on them is a lot better. The edging on them is a lot better. The edges before were they weren't sharp, but they weren't quite as rounded as maybe you would like them to be. We've improved all of that. Like, they're a really, really great product now, and we have extremely competitive pricing on the necklaces in particular. So let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Look, you know, it's 2025, Mother's Day is around the corner. You know, Adrian said earlier, it's always good to kind of know where we're at in the year, know what season we're in. Like, it helps us identify trends and to know what we should be targeting with our e-commerce stores. Mother's Day is an incredible holiday. Greeting cards sell extremely well Mother's Day, according to third-party data, but so does jewelry. And you can bring both of those together in this one product. So I always am like, I'm such a hype man for these products around Mother's Day, because I've just seen what these can do around that particular holiday. Again, success isn't guaranteed. You know, it takes some skill, takes some luck, all that kind of stuff. But this is an amazing product to be putting in your store as we move into Mother's Day. So I hope all of you found that really helpful. Adrian, are you still with us?
Yeah, man, that was a great training.
Yeah, I hope everybody got a lot of benefit out of that. I was flying.
Well, look, as we discussed, you know, you said that you'd be willing to come on a couple more times between now and then. Maybe we can get a part two to this, but
absolutely,
you know, the guidance just in 30 minutes they received is beyond what I could have given them in this particular space or anyone else. I mean, y'all know what sells, you know what products are hot, you know how to sell them. Like what you were saying earlier, if they cry, they buy. It's funny, but it's true, right? So if people want to win, they need to know these things. So thanks for coming on. I truly appreciate that. I know everybody's ecstatic about the training and to get started with ShineOn. Guys, that link is there. Is profitph.com/shine. You can get a free account with ShineOn. Again, they do have upgrades in there. Like, they have other services, they have product discounts, all sorts of things that are super valuable. But for now, you can just jump in there, get a free account, explore all of that, and take advantage of the #1 platform, in my opinion, to be using to sell during Mother's Day, 100%. So, Michael, I think that is it, my man. So thanks so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to leave everybody with?
No, man, I'm really excited to see what people do this Mother's Day. I'm really excited to come back too for a part two. This is a blast. I appreciate you having me on.
For sure, man. Everybody just put in the number 2 in the question and chat box if you want Michael to come back on again, and we'll see when we can get him scheduled based off his availability. He's got kids, and you know, he's got a whole business to run, so doing webinars for us is considered a big favor. It's not just a part of the job. So just put in a 2. We'll review that. We'll see when we can get him back on, hopefully before Mother's Day, so y'all can get some more of this training, because he said it was like a 2 to 3 hour training that he condensed to 30 minutes. Michael, thanks so much again for coming on, dude. We'll see when we can get you back. I appreciate the training.
Yeah, no worries, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Take care, everybody.
All right, see y'all. Bye, everyone. Bye, Michael.